The scent of old paper and dust filled the cramped dorm room. Ethan Cole lay on his narrow bed, muscles coiled tight, a low tremor running through his limbs. The familiar, suffocating pressure was building behind his eyes. Across the room, Liam Vance's jacket was slung over a chair, a faint trace of his scent clinging to the fabric, sandalwood and something sharp, like ozone after a storm. It was the only thing that ever cut through the static in Ethan's head. He'd heard them in the hallway last night. Liam's voice, low and amused, explaining to his childhood friend, Marcus, who'd had too much to drink. Ethan's a defective alpha. Can't even bond properly. Gets clingy when he's sick. It's just a bit of fun between alphas. You think I'd actually be with him? The words had been a physical blow. Now the sickness was back, a fever under the skin, a grating need that scraped at his nerves. Liam had left an hour ago, slamming the door, leaving Ethan to choke on the silence. He'd injected 2 suppressants. They did nothing but make his head swim. His fingers shook as he scrolled through his contacts. The name he found was one he hadn't dialed in years. The phone rang once, twice. A calm, deep voice answered. Ethan, I accept your terms. The words were torn from him, raw and desperate. Help me. A soft chuckle traveled down the line. You finally figured out who can actually take care of you. When Silas Vance entered the apartment, the room was dim, curtains drawn against the afternoon sun. Ethan was on the floor by Liam's abandoned chair, his face buried in the jacket, breathing in the fading scent like a drowning man seeking air. Silas closed the door with a gentle push of his shoe. He stood for a moment, just watching. His gaze was unervingly direct. Pathetic, he murmured, the word devoid of real malice. He made no move to come closer, but Ethan sensed it. A subtle shift in the air, a richer, deeper sandalwood, laced with something ancient and powerful. An enigma's signature. It was sharper, cleaner than Liam's, and his body responded to it instinctively, the painful tension easing a fraction. His vision blurred at the edges. He dropped the jacket, a crumpled heap on the scuffed hardwood, and pushed himself up. He crossed the room in 3 strides, his movements uncoordinated, and shoved Silas back against the door. Eager, aren't we? Silas's hand came up to bracket Ethan's waist, his breath warm against Ethan's ear. Ethan fumbled with the stiff collar of Silas's tailored suit, teeth scraping uselessly against the thick fabric. A growl of frustration escaped him. He needed skin, needed contact. Silas caught his wrists in one large hand, effortlessly halting his frantic movements. Give it to me. Ethan's own scent, usually a light bergamot, was thick and bitter in the small space. With deliberate slowness, Silas loosened his own tie, using the silk to bind Ethan's wrists together. Then I'll assume our agreement stands. He lifted Ethan as if he weighed nothing and deposited him on the disheveled bed. The sandalwood scent blossomed then, pouring from Silas, potent and commanding. Ethan's own strained signature twisted around it, seeking merging. Freed from the tie, Ethan lunged, his teeth finding the gland at Silas's throat. It was futile. An enigma couldn't be claimed that way. Silas just laughed, a low, rough sound, and pulled him close. You've forgotten how I used to take care of you. Be still. Ethan woke to the insistent buzz of the doorbell. The space beside him was empty, cool. Only a charcoal gray suit jacket remained, tangled in his arms. Every muscle ached with a deep, familiar soreness. Just like old times, he thought with a flicker of exhausted resentment. He moved stiffly to the door and opened it. Liam brushed past him without a glance, heading for the small kitchenette. Feeling better? Ethan didn't answer. He just wanted to crawl back into the darkness of sleep. Liam followed him, sitting on the edge of the mattress. His expression was one of genuine surprise. You're okay? When Ethan kept his eyes closed, Liam reached for his hand, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. You're upset. But you have to understand, Marcus, I've had feelings for him since we were kids. Pulling away from you was wrong. I've thought about it. From now on, when you need me, I'll be here. Okay. Ethan pushed him away and sat up. The suit jacket slid from the bed onto the floor between them. Liam frowned, picking it up. His fingers traced the fine wool. I've seen this before. Ethan leaned back against the headboard, watching the realization dawn. Wait. Liam's eyes widened. This is my uncle's jacket. The one who just got back. How do you have my uncle's suit? A slow smile touched Ethan's lips. He left it here. After last night. The silence that followed was thick enough to choke on. Liam's face went pale. Last night? You and my uncle? The lie came easily. You believe everything you hear? He came looking for you. Must have forgotten it. As if on cue, someone knocked at the door. Liam answered, and a uniformed mover stood in the hallway. Ethan Cole? Your relocation service is here. Ethan understood. Silas wasn't wasting any time. He surveyed the room, textbooks, cheap furniture, a life built on borrowed stability. I'm leaving. You're moving out? Liam's voice cracked. He grabbed Ethan's wrist. Why? Stay. What if you have another episode? I'm the only one who can help you. When Ethan didn't respond, his grip tightened. Your family's situation. It's not good. Your father is still in the hospital. You need me. Staying with me is your best option. Ethan gently extracted his arm. And Marcus would be fine with that arrangement? Liam flinched, his hand falling away. Downstairs, the mover gestured Ethan toward the back of a large panel van. He opened the doors, and Ethan stepped into the darkened cargo hold. The doors locked behind him with a final click. The air inside was cool, smelling of metal and old packing blankets. A heavy, rhythmic breathing came from the shadows. He took a hesitant step forward, and his foot caught on something soft. He pitched forward, landing not on the hard floor, but on a mattress laid out in the center of the space. Strong arms pulled him upright. The scent of sandalwood, pure and undiluted, enveloped him. Silas Vance. Ethan's voice was muffled against his shoulder. What's all this? Silas held him close, his breath warming Ethan's neck. He didn't speak, just held him as the van began to move, rocking gently through the city streets. For 10 minutes, 20, there was only the sound of the engine and their breathing. Ethan had known Silas for most of his life. His father had found him, a quiet, intense kid in a state home, an alpha whose rare signature could soothe Ethan's debilitating condition, a neurological disorder that rejected omega signatures as toxins. Silas had been his anchor, his living medicine, through every crisis. Until 3 years ago, when genetic testing revealed Silas was no orphan, but the lost heir to the powerful Vance family. He'd been sent abroad to assume his place. Left alone, drowning in sickness, Ethan had clung to the next best thing. Liam Vance, whose signature was a pale echo of Silas's. Liam had promised to always be there. Ethan, desperate, had believed him. The van slowed, then stopped. Silas finally spoke, his voice rough. I've arranged for a specialist to see your father. The Vance family will cease all interference with your family's affairs. When you need me, call. I will come. The doors opened, revealing the concrete canopy of a hospital loading bay. Silas's arms loosened. Ethan didn't move. My legs are asleep. A short, almost laugh escaped Silas. He helped Ethan out. Together, they walked through the sterile corridors to the ICU. Behind the glass, Ethan's father lay still, a network of tubes and monitors keeping time. Seeing him never got easier. Dad, Ethan whispered. Look who's here. Silas stood beside him, straight and solemn. Sir. His father had loved Silas like a second son. A pang of old, childish jealousy, now tempered by shame, twisted in Ethan's gut. I will make this right for him, Silas said quietly. Ethan stared. Make what right? Against your own family? He shook his head violently. No, I just want him to get better. That's all. Silas looked at him for a long moment, then sighed. There's a procedure. Pheromone sequestration. They can extract and stabilize my signature for you. A single batch could last months. He paused, choosing his words with care. I know you have doubts. It's fine. I can wait. He turned and walked away before Ethan could refuse. Ethan knew about sequestration. It was experimental, dangerous, could damage the donor's gland permanently. He'd read a case study about an anonymous Enigma donor who'd volunteered. The stated reason: his loved one suffered from signature rejection syndrome. 2 days later, in a lecture hall, Ethan's old friend Leo found him. Leo, a cheerful beta with a particular appreciation for alphas, threw an arm around his shoulders. Heard you and the Vance heir are kaput. Does that mean he's back on the market? Ethan shrugged him off and headed for his usual seat. Just as he was about to sit, a figure slipped into the spot beside him. Marcus smiled up at him, all innocence. This one's taken. Leo started to protest, but Ethan stopped him. He didn't want trouble. He moved toward the front, but found his path blocked by a semicircle of students. What's your problem? Leo snapped at Marcus. Marcus's eyes never left Ethan. Isn't it obvious? I'm jealous. He had something I wanted. Consider this payback. He leaned forward, his gaze sharpening. I hear your gland is defective. I'm curious. What does a broken alpha's gland even look like? Show everyone. Then we're done. Someone grabbed at Ethan's collar. Leo tried to intervene, but was easily shoved aside. Ethan pulled Leo back and caught the offending wrist, twisting it just enough to make its owner gasp. His bergamot signature, usually mild, spiked into the air, a pressurized wave that made the lower-tier alphas around him flinch. Marcus stumbled back, his face paling as the aggressive scent hit him. The bell rang. Ethan began to pull his signature back. Then, another scent slammed into the room. Sandalwood. But this was Liam's, cold, angry, and aimed directly at him. It clashed violently with Ethan's own, a shockwave that made his gland burn and swell. The familiar, awful itch of an oncoming episode crawled up his spine. We're leaving, Leo said, supporting his weight. I didn't say you could go. Liam's voice was flat, his signature pressed down, a suffocating weight. Ethan was a strong alpha, but Liam was stronger. Fire lanced through Ethan's neck. He trembled, his knees buckling. He hit the floor. The primal need to survive, to be here when his father woke, overrode everything. I'm sorry, he forced out, the words ash in his mouth. It was my fault. Please let me go. Liam watched him, unmoved. Marcus, recovered now, stepped over, his eyes gleaming with triumph. He nodded to someone behind Ethan. Hands forced him forward, exposing the back of his neck. He closed his eyes. There was no fighting this. He felt a fingernail scrape under the edge of his gland guard. A sudden, sharp cry from Marcus. A throwing knife thudded into the wall beside them, its blade slicing a thin line across Marcus's shoulder, staining his white shirt crimson. Silas stood in the doorway, his chest heaving. He crossed the room in seconds, throwing the students holding Ethan aside as if they were nothing. He gathered Ethan against him, and his signature, the true, potent, Enigma-grade sandalwood, flooded the space. It didn't just counter Liam's signature. It erased it, purging the air with an authority that was absolute. Ethan drew in a ragged, clear breath. Silas carefully passed Ethan to Leo. Then he turned. Marcus had shrunk behind Liam, trembling. Silas, what the hell are you doing? Liam shouted, stepping in front of Marcus. Silas didn't answer. He simply looked at Liam, his height and presence making Liam seem like a boy. He drew back his fist and drove it into Liam's jaw. The crack was sickening. Liam staggered, catching himself on a desk, his cheek already swelling. Silas flexed his hand. What did you call me? A tense silence stretched. Finally, Liam mumbled, Uncle. Silas's gaze swept the room, a silent promise of consequence to every person there. He scooped Ethan up and carried him out. Liam, shaking off Marcus, stumbled after them into the hallway. "He's my alpha," Liam yelled, pointing at Ethan. "We've been together. Only I can help him. You can't just take him." Silas looked at him as if he were speaking gibberish. "He was never yours to claim." He handed a dazed Leo off to a waiting driver, giving Ethan a moment to assure his friend he'd explain everything later. Leo, wide-eyed, leaned in before getting in the car. "For God's sake, use protection." When the car pulled away, an awkward silence settled between Ethan and Silas. "Thank you," Ethan managed. Silas just nodded toward his open car door. An invitation. Ethan hesitated. The Vance dynasty was a gilded cage. The old patriarch, Silas's father, would never allow his reclaimed heir to be entangled with a damaged nobody. Getting closer would only lead to more pain, for both of them. Seeing his indecision, Silas closed the car door and dismissed the driver. He looked at Ethan, his expression a complex mix of yearning and fierce restraint. He pressed a small, cool vial into Ethan's palm. Inside, a shimmering liquid held the faint, unmistakable scent of sandalwood. He had done it. He'd undergone sequestration. "Don't drop it," Silas said, his voice strained. He gripped Ethan's hand, as if using the contact to steady himself. Only then did Ethan notice the dark patch of sweat and blood soaking through the back of Silas's gray t-shirt. "Silas." He shook his head, but his knees gave way. Ethan caught him as he slumped forward. "I'm here," Silas murmured, barely conscious. "Don't send me away again." The emergency room was bright and chaotic. The doctor examining Silas's gland recoiled. "This is sequestration trauma. And he used his signature on top of this? He's lucky to be alive. We can't treat this here. He needs the specialized unit downtown." Ethan stared at the landscape of scars covering Silas's neck, old ones layered with angry new wounds. He reached out, fingers hovering near Silas's sweat-damp temple. "Ethan Cole." He knew that voice. Authoritative, icy. Silas's father, Arthur Vance, sat in a wheelchair by the door, ushered in by an aide. Ethan ignored him, his fingers gently brushing the hair from Silas's forehead. Arthur Vance sighed, a sound of profound weariness. "Might we speak?" "It would be an honor, Mr. Vance." Ethan kept his eyes on Silas. Arthur was rolled to the other side of the bed. He took his son's hand, his eyes growing damp. "I lost him once. My older son died looking for him. I will not watch him throw his life away now." His gaze lifted to Ethan, all sentiment gone. "You should be grateful. He's kept you alive this long. You're intelligent. You understand there are things in this world you simply cannot have." Ethan said nothing. The man was right. He was compromised, desperate, had traded dignity for survival. He'd taken what was offered from both uncle and nephew. He'd stolen enough time. "What do you want from me?" An aide presented a black titanium card. "Unlimited CR." Then a tablet was placed in Ethan's hands. He scrolled through profiles, alphas, their signatures listed as compatible with his. "Pheromone sequestration," Arthur Vance said. "As you now know, these are viable donors. 1 per year for life. A guarantee of survival. That is my final offer. Stay away from my son and my grandson." Ethan handed back the tablet but kept the card. "I don't need the donors. This is enough. I'll leave as soon as my father's surgery is done. A month at most." He stood, looking one last time at Silas's still form. "And Silas, goodbye." His father's surgery was a success. The only farewell that mattered was with Leo. They met at a steakhouse, the kind of place Leo had always begged to try. Ethan ordered everything. Leo knew something was wrong. Finally, Ethan told him. He was leaving the country. For good. "Where will you go?" Leo asked, trying to sound cheerful. "Somewhere quiet. I'll let you know." Later, after too many drinks, Ethan put Leo in a cab. Leo grabbed his hand through the window, his words slurred but fierce. "Just stay alive, okay? Wait for me." Ethan watched the taillights disappear. He hailed another cab. "General Hospital, please." He leaned back, closing his eyes. About 10 minutes in, a wrong turn jolted him alert. "Driver, this isn't the way." The man in the driver's seat turned slightly. The cap shadowed his face, but Ethan recognized the hate-twisted features. Marcus. Leo had said his gland was ruined, that he was hospitalized. A jagged laugh escaped him. "You ruined me, Ethan. I can't touch the Vances, but I can touch you." He slammed the accelerator. The car swerved through the near-empty downtown streets, running a red light and clipping a delivery van. Glass sprayed. Marcus, bleeding from a cut on his arm, barely seemed to notice. "Marcus, stop this. Stop," he shrieked. "I have nothing to stop for. No gland, no future, no Liam. It's your fault." He wrenched the wheel, speeding toward the freeway on-ramp. Ethan dialed 911, whispering their location to the dispatcher. That's when he smelled it. Acrid chemical, gasoline and something else. "Do you smell that?" Marcus giggled, gesturing to a coiled fuse wire running along the passenger side floor, its end tucked under his seat. A small, lumpy package was visible there. "I made it nice and long. Savoring the moment, you know?" Sirens wailed behind them. Police cruisers attempted to box them in. Marcus swerved wildly, laughing. He produced a lighter. "The car has explosives." Ethan yelled into the phone. The flame touched the fuse. It hissed to life, a spark racing along its length. Ethan pulled at the door handle, slammed his shoulder against the window. It was useless. Suddenly, a black SUV shot from an intersection, cutting them off with a brutal crunch of metal, pinning the cab against a concrete barrier. Tires blew out. Marcus was thrown forward, dazed. The door beside Ethan was wrenched open. Liam stood there, his face a mask of grim determination. He hauled Ethan out. The fuse was inches from vanishing under the seat. "Help me," Marcus moaned, pinned by the twisted steering column. "Liam, please, I'm stuck." Liam ignored him, dragging Ethan backward. "Run." They scrambled across the street as Marcus's screams turned to terrified sobs. The explosion tore the night apart, a ball of fire and noise that shook the buildings. Liam covered Ethan with his body, taking the brunt of the heat and debris. When it was over, Liam stood, brushing dust from his clothes. "Are you hurt?" Ethan shook his head, walking away on unsteady legs. "Why?" Ethan asked when they were a safe distance away. "Why did you do that?" Liam looked down, scuffing his shoe on the pavement. "I realized, I need you. Marcus was using me. He was manipulating everything. I was wrong." He reached for Ethan, his eyes pleading. "I can make it right. Just come back." Ethan stepped out of his reach. The look in Liam's eyes wasn't love, or even guilt. It was possessiveness, rivalry. He was a prize to be won back from Silas. "Don't follow me," Ethan said, his voice tired. "I'm not choosing either of you." He looked up. Silas stood under a street lamp 20 yards away, dressed in hospital scrubs, his face pale. He had heard. A month later, Ethan sat with his father at the departure gate. His father squeezed his hand. "You know, son, Silas was always a good man. If you wanted to stay..." "No." Ethan's voice was firm. "He is good, which is why I can't." He had made his peace. He would live whatever life was left to him, without being a burden or a secret. The flight took them over the ocean, to a small, historic city on the coast of a country known for its quiet beauty. He rented a cottage with a view of terracotta roofs and the distant sea. He spent weeks showing his father the cobblestone streets and ancient plazas. He saw the news online. Arthur Vance had retired. Silas was now the undisputed head of the family empire. Liam's name was scarcely mentioned. When the vial from Silas was nearly empty, and the restless ache began to creep back into his bones, he finally followed Leo's instructions. He took a bus to a nearby coastal town, a place of winding, narrow alleys. The address led him to a worn wooden door that opened onto stairs descending into a basement. Torches flickered in iron sconces on stone walls. At the bottom, a figure in a dark hooded robe sat at a simple table. "Sit," a voice said, low and oddly smooth. Ethan obeyed. "I seek a cure for my condition." A hand emerged from the robe. It was not an old man's hand. It was young, strong, and familiar. It rested on his gland, and a wave of profound, calming sandalwood scent washed over him, soothing the pain instantly. "Your condition can be managed," the voice said. The hand moved to grasp his, holding it tightly. Then the hood was pushed back. Silas looked back at him, his eyes tired but lit with a defiant, hopeful fire. "But the treatment requires the source. It requires me. Will you accept it?"